Tonight, Senate commends President Bola Tinubu for his cooperation with the National Assembly for Development to thrive in Nigeria. Constitution Alteration Bill passes second reading in the House of Representatives, plus unified legislative processes in states. 36 states House of Assembly adopt harmonized standing orders. Good evening and welcome to Parliamentary News. I am Amina Saidu. Senate has commended President Bola Tinubu for his cooperation with the National Assembly to fast-track development in the 6 regions of Nigeria. This is coming on the heels of the President's latest assent to the establishment of development commissions for the South-South and Southwest zones. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, announced President Tinubu's assent to the 2 bills to establish development commissions for South-South and Southwest, bringing to 6 the number of development commissions to bridge development gaps across geopolitical zones in Nigeria.
We thank the President. We are grateful for his cooperation. We are grateful for creating jobs. And we also are grateful for taking development to the grassroots level at our subnationals.
Senate has passed for second reading bill to establish Federal University of Science and Technology in Akpa, Lagos State, sponsored by Senate leader Okoyemi Bamidele.
For Nigeria to become one of the world's leading economies, as currently being pursued by this administration, we must be ready to adjust and position our educational institutions so that its products are geared for the technological challenges inherent in such projections.
Senate has, in the meantime, mandated its Committee on Federal Character to investigate ministries, departments, and agencies of government to a certain level of compliance with constitutional provision on federal character in recruitment, appointments, and promotions, sequel to a motion from the Minority Whip, Senator Osita Ungu.
Despite a focus on geographical quotas, imbalances persist between institutions, often relocating problems rather than solving them, while certain regions remain underrepresented.
We understand that some MDAs are recruiting people secretly, and in most cases, these appointments are subjective.
Talking is one thing and doing is another. This is something that touches on the very fabric of our very existence.
The Red Chamber has confirmed the appointment of Sylvester Nwakuchendidi as Comptroller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, with a call on him to work towards eliminating prison break. Also confirmed by the Senate is the appointment of Professor Melvin Ayogu as a member Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct and Public Petitions has emphasized that based on legal provisions, any matter that is before a law court may not be entered as it amounts to sub judice. Chairman of the committee, Senator Neda Imashun, during a sitting on the petition from one Mr. Zubairu Yakubu of Kogi Central Senatorial Zone with regards to allegation of sexual harassment by suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti against the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, said papers have been served to the committee that the matter is pending in a court of law. Counsel to the wife of the President of the Senate, that of the petitioner, members of the committee, and a former minister, Obi Ezekwesili, were at the sitting of the committee.
Plenty of us are reading the rules of the committee, and I could see that the committee has a right to deal with do investigation and also to deal with issues of misconduct, which is what is before you.
The matter is sub judice. The truth of the matter is that the allegation of sexual harassment, the wife of distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio has filed a suit, and I presented those 2 suits before the committee last Tuesday.
The petitioner said he would not speak to his petition because the Senate is biased, or I'm biased, or the committee is biased. The respondent has just told us, and the papers are before you, that this case is before a competent court of law. Therefore, this committee will allow a court of law that will not be biased to handle this matter. Therefore, this matter is closed here at the Senate and is adjourned.
The petitioner, Mr. Zubairu, had earlier insisted that though he is the author of the petition, Senator Natasha should also be invited by the committee to testify.
My principal witness, who is Senator Natasha Apoti-Oduagha, that incident happened to, who reported to me. If she's not here to clarify, because she has every evidence, documentary evidence, oral evidence to testify, unless the senator allow her to come in for her to testify.
A constitution alteration bill for general elections to the office of the president and all other elective offices across tiers of government to hold simultaneously on the same day has passed a second reading in the House of Representatives. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikpen reports that this was among 40 bills that scaled second reading in what is seen as a marathon consideration of bills at Tuesday's plenary.
The 40 bills which scaled second reading order on judicial reforms, inclusive governance, and electoral matters. The bills include proposals seeking to make the Court of Appeal the final arbiter in governorship, national and state houses of assembly election petitions, another to remove heads of courts based on National Judicial Council recommendation, as well as proposals for establishment of state and local government police. One of the bills wants INEC to be empowered to conduct local council elections, while another proposes establishment of a separate national local government electoral commission for the purpose. Both bills, however, passed second reading. Notably, the bill seeking the conduct of elections to all elective offices in the land on the same day scaled second reading after suffering rejection last year.
Remember that if we have all elections in one day, the accreditation that is used for the state assembly or local government or House of Rep is the same accreditation for the presidential election. So we now have a situation whereby after a House of Rep or senatorial candidates have been declared with 40,000 accreditation, the presidential election result is showing 1 million. Because already people have collected their result at that lower level before we even start getting to the state level where we're going to compile the governorship and the presidential.
The constitution alteration bills have been referred to the House Constitution Review Committee for public hearings and further legislative actions. The House also passed resolutions seeking intervention for communities battling erosion in Kano State, as well as insecurity in Imo State.
All Infage local government area of Kano State are facing severe and destructive environmental degradation and poverty as a result of erosion and floods occasioned in the said communities. This environmental degradation needs to be addressed and their effects need to be reduced on the populace.
Killings, kidnappings, and banditry has recently taken on upsurge in Ngopala local government, and if not checked, might lead to complete state of anarchy.
The report on the 2024 Hajj exercise has been laid at plenary for consideration. From the National Assembly, Mitari Ikpen, NTA News.
In these times, when there is increasing conflict between nations in various spheres, Nigeria and Uganda are choosing to be on the side of positivity by strengthening cultural ties. Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy gave this commitment in Abuja when a 27-man delegation comprising senior military officers from Uganda paid her a visit. Ongufan Shaji reports.
This collaboration is part of Nigeria's broader strategy to promote Pan-Africanism and foster greater regional integration. The Minister of Art, Culture, Tourism and the Creative Economy, who was represented by the Head of Department, Cultural Industries and Heritage, Canon Anama, stated that Nigeria and Uganda share similar historical experiences.
Strengthens our leadership role in Africa. And two, when it comes to culture, it reawakens our spirit on the need to preserve, promote, and present our culture. And that is why their visit today is to add to that which the Minister, Barrister Hanatu Musa Musawa, is doing under Vision 2030 Nigeria Everywhere as approved by the FEC.
Major General George Igumba, who led the Ugandan delegation, said that the visit marked a significant milestone in the bilateral relations between Nigeria and Uganda.
We are here to benchmark, basically to benchmark. We have tools with which we try to solve national security issues. And we think if we studied elsewhere how they do it, then it would add value to our own way of handling the matter.
The collaboration between Nigeria and Uganda is a step towards Pan-African affiliation, promoting cultural exchange, tourism, and economic cooperation among African nations. In Abuja, Gofan Shaji Ogwanyi, NTA News.
The federal government of Nigeria has taken a significant step to address the shortage of high-quality tertiary-level textbooks in the country. Through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED 50 indigenously authored books are being unveiled to bridge the gap in academic resources. Zerit Dingum reports.
These intellectual works are written by Nigerian academics and cover various subjects of medicine, law, engineering, agriculture, economics, education, and security studies. Stakeholders say the move is aimed at reducing Nigeria's reliance on foreign academic materials, promote indigenous authorship, and safeguard national pride.
Let this be a call to continue pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Let us write, not just for today, but also for the future of academia and our national development.
Efforts are being channeled towards contributing to entrepreneurship and reviving dormant APCs to ensure their sustainability.
Educational system of a country is very strategic and germane for overall development of any nation. Hence, should be given top priority over other sectors.
The Ministry of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, emphasized the importance of this initiative, stating that the scarcity of quality tertiary-level textbooks in Nigeria has reached a critical level, as the Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Sonny Echono, adds that the fund has set a minimum target of 50 textbooks yearly for publication, with digital copies also being made available.
This commitment is reflected in the prioritization of funding and policy reforms aimed at enhancing content development and building the capacity of our public tertiary educational institutions.
The government is giving more attention to publication through TED Fund in a bid to provide adequate indigenous learning materials in our tertiary educational institutions for national development and improve the global ranking of Nigeria tertiary institutions.
As Nigeria celebrates this milestone, the presidential vision for a more robust and effective education system is becoming a reality, and this commitment to improving academic resources and outcomes is a testament to empowering Nigeria's future generations. In Abuja, Zenra Dingmun, NTA News.
With about 200 bills pending in the National Assembly for the creation of new tertiary educational institutions, experts are acknowledging this move as a welcome initiative. They are, however, advocating for educational reforms that will ensure adequate provisions to sustain such institutions of higher learning, as well as augmentation of the capacity of the existing ones. In this special report, National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjiji x-rays the sustainability of the proliferation of institutions of higher learning in Nigeria and interventions of stakeholders in the education sector in meeting up with global standards. His report.
Since its assumption of office in May 2023, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration having favorably considered bills passed by the National Assembly has established at least 12 tertiary institutions. They include 8 universities, 2 polytechnics, and 2 colleges of education. Nigerians from their various views acknowledge these initiatives as rational. However, educational reforms are being yearned for amidst myriads of challenges ranging from funding, inadequate budgetary allocations, increase in tuition fees, struggle in paying electricity bills, leaving the existing institutions to deal with.
During one of the public hearings, the National Universities Commission, NUC, and the other stakeholders are of the opinion that the institutions we have in Nigeria today are grossly inadequate compared to our population of about 250 million citizens.
Even some higher institutions, there are no seats for students in the lecture halls. That's in some public schools. We see that. And sometimes the lecturers, the teachers are not enough, where students sometimes will have to rely on, some other way of learning.
So we can reform the educational system, have an educational system in which the institutions are self-funded by themselves, they generate their own internal revenue, then with additional support from the government. In that case, they can be sustained. In some of these clans, as I'm talking about, education, tertiary institutions are owned by even local government. There are community colleges that are owned by local government. There are some that are owned by the states. Then there are thousands of privately owned tertiary education institutions. The same thing has helped. So the truth of the matter is that every country must plan because of the growing population, because the country is growing on a daily basis.
Recently, in a ministerial press briefing, the Minister of Education decried almost 200 bills pending in the National Assembly for the creation of new universities. Concerns are growing that the system is becoming overwhelming, while some support the establishment of more to meet the increase in number of Nigerian youth population denied admission into tertiary institutions.
We're not going to set up new school for them. That's not going to happen. We have the law, we have technical college, we have everything. We just have to find a way to accommodate some of this youth population. To that, and we say, you take it up. You are the secretariat for this.
Stakeholders, especially lawmakers footing more creation of tertiary institutions, are of the opinion that the most populated black nation in the universe is in urgent need for more tertiary institutions, as annual budgetary allocations have been augmented in line with best global standard.
The development levy, which was introduced in the tax reform bills, the Nigerian tax administration bills, is to the effect that 4% will be charged as development levy, 50% of which will be dedicated to TED Fund to continue to bridge infrastructure gap in teaching and learning and also in tertiary institutions. So this intervention will go a long way in improving and increasing interventions within the tertiary institution space, and this will also increase the admission quota given to beneficiary institutions. The tax reform bills also made recommendations for sunset clause to exit TED Fund from the intervention. But the House, the legislature, in intervening, have said no to the exclusion or the sunset clause, wherein we have said that you cannot give birth to a child and extinguish life, because TED Fund has become the life wire of all the tertiary institutions. So waking up to take off the intervention may make a mess of all the interventions we've made in the past.
It is the belief of the National Assembly that the executive will concur with this resolution as far as the sunset clause is concerned, thereby giving more power to TED Fund to oversee capital projects in Nigeria's federal institutions of higher learning. From the National Assembly, Joshua Oguchide, NTA News.
Still to come, 36 states' houses of assembly adopt harmonized standing orders. Details of this and reports from local government budget defense will come shortly after these messages.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the marketing department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
You're welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTA Parliamentary News, reaching you from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. You can as well follow us on the platforms showing on the screens for more updates. Speakers and majority leaders drawn from the 36 states' Houses of Assembly have adopted and ratified harmonized standing orders to unify legislative processes in the state legislatures in the country. The event is convened by the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria in collaboration with the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILS, and supported by the German government. Musa Toliat has more.
Standing orders are a set of rules that govern the internal operations of the House of Assembly and its committees. This gathering of speakers and majority leaders drawn from 36 states of the country is convened with the main reason of brainstorming on adoption of unified standing orders for state houses of assembly.
To come up with a standard or a more standard document, compliance with excellence rules and setting up committees for review.
The event is organized by the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria in collaboration with the National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies and the German government.
As we further embark on this journey now, it is essential to reflect on the significance of uniform standing orders within the State Houses of Assembly. These orders serve as the backbone of legislative procedures, ensuring consistency, transparency, and efficiency in the legislative process. The objectives of harmonizing these orders are clear: to create a standard approach that fosters collaboration, reduces procedural discrepancies, and enhances the overall effectiveness of legislative bodies. We want to give you the opportunity to also consider the broader context of constitutional review in Nigeria. Working together, both levels can overcome obstacles and achieve a constitution that truly reflects the will and aspirations of the Nigerian people.
The rules to be adopted across the Houses of Assembly seek to ensure unity across the states in implementing issues on suspension and removal of presiding officers, as well as other members, conduct of budgetary processes, and confirmation of appointments sent by the executive arm of government. The harmonized standing orders also focus on the adoption of legislative reports, statutory reports and resolutions, ratifying constitutional alterations and treaties, the establishment of special ad hoc committees, and the conduct of executive sessions.
The Conference of Speakers in Nigeria is on the verge of a groundbreaking achievement. We are poised to make history with a planned introduction of a harmonized standing order for all state houses of assembly.
This gathering couldn't have been more timely, as it provides a unique opportunity to strengthen the institutional framework guiding legislative governance at the national and subnational level, ensuring consistency, efficiency, and the overall enhancement of democratic practice in Nigeria.
There were also sessions on key issues in 2025 constitutional review, including fiscal federalism and local government autonomy. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
To ensure accountability, transparency, and effective resource allocation in Kebbi State, the House of Assembly has been scrutinizing the budgets of the 21 local government areas of the state. This is not only in line with the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but serves as a guide for the spending and record-keeping of the activities of the local government assemblies. Correspondent Jafar Yusuf Illu reports.
The budget defense is a crucial process in local government administration, where officials present and justify their proposed expenditures to the legislative body. In this case, the Kebbi State House of Assembly has been scrutinizing to ensure transparency, accountability, and effective allocation of resources, ultimately impacting the lives of citizens in all the local governments. Some of the local government chairmen who appeared before the House Joint Committee to defend their proposal have this to say.
Some observations was made, and we are going to make that observation and then make corrections. Immediately we will bring it back to the House.
My priority area is just to consider the lives of our people in terms of projects that have direct bearing to the people. That's my priority, especially on the health sector, the agriculture and empowerment program.
Ensuring that government funds are spent accordingly to budget guidelines is a critical responsibility of lawmakers. As the committee interrogates the various bodies of the 21 local government areas of the state, they are hopeful that the process will check corruption and embrace check and balances.
Budget in any organization is a forecast of the revenue which will be accrued throughout the year and also for the expenditure.
The financial memoranda guides the assembly in dealing with the local government council representatives in ensuring that the laid down rules and regulations are complied with.
Lawmakers are working closely with the executive arms of government to ensure that the budget implementation align with the approved budget framework. This collaborative approach helps prevent mismanagement of funds, promote good governance, and ultimately benefit the citizens. In Burikebi, Jafari Sobilo, NTA News.
Now, the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibrin, has paid registration fees for 52 clubs in Kano State for this year's Nigeria Nationwide League One competition. Senator Barrow, the founder of the Barrow Football Club, Barrow FC, paid the fees following the request of the chairman of the Nigeria Nationwide League One Kano Football Clubs Forum, Alhaji Salisu Ibrahim, during a courtesy visit to him at the National Assembly on Tuesday. Ibrahim, a veteran football administrator, lamented the club's inability to register for the competition and solicited intervention from the Deputy President of the Senate. Responding, the Deputy President of the Senate announced the payment of registration fees for all the 52 clubs in Kano State.
There are teams, about 52 of them, that play in the Nationwide League, who are, that are from Kano. I try to encourage them. That it's good that they continue to play football and try to play and have the spirit of sportsmanship, devoid of rancor, so that they can promote the game of football in Kano and in particular, and Nigeria in general.
Meanwhile, Ibrahim Yunus Suleiman, one of the players of the Barrow FC, has been invited to the Nigerian Flying Eagles Under-20 camp ahead of this year's AFCON in Ivory Coast. This is where we draw the curtain on our news for this evening. Thank you for watching. Once again, I am Amina Saidu, saying bye for now.